Nationals Park in Washington. Pix 11 presents New York Mets baseball. Today the Mets play the Washington Nationals. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Toyota. The Camry, Highlander, and RAV4 have something for everybody. Toyota, let's go places. By Hackensack Meridian. For quick, quality care you can trust, visit hackensackmeridianhealth.org/getcare. By the Lincoln Motor Company. By Raymore and Flanagan Furniture, furnishing your style. By your local Kia dealers, visit kia.com to learn more. And by your local Chevy dealers, visit chevyoffers.com. Well, the race for the postseason has long been over for the New York Mets, but they have certainly gotten some performances which give them hope heading toward 2019. The young players who might be at the top of the lineup next year, and the veteran making a comeback after a season of injury. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Washington. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you today as the Mets play Game 3 of their 4-game series against the Nationals. Just moments ago, the Atlanta Braves clinched the National League East with a 5-3 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. And what it makes you think about is opportunity lost for both these teams, the Nationals and the Mets, who were supposed to be the favorites in the division going in.
Well, I think Washington is the one team that really has to kick themselves really hard. Mets had another year where they had injuries to key players, and it's not an excuse. It just seems to be epidemic, and they got caught. They got the bug again this year. But the Nationals here, this team right here, will look back at this season with all their stars, and it looks like they're going to lose Bryce Harper, and they're going to say they're going to have a lot of regrets.
Well, the Mets and the Nationals will keep on playing this weekend. Mets have taken the first 2 of this series, and they'll try and make it 3 in a row this afternoon. The Mets and the Nats, all the action coming your way today on Pix 11.
Playing to the base. Look at Brandon Nimmo. We talked about his on-base percentage. Well, there's a big reason right there. On-base streak is incredible. Anthony Rendon, he's cashing in the chips. He's been driving in runs. He's always a thorn in the side of the Mets. He's a strong Rookie of the Year candidate. Juan Soto, the left fielder, the young teenage left fielder. He is impressive.
Mets starting lineup brought to you by the New York Lottery. Day off for Jeff McNeil, so Brandon Nimmo moves up to the 2-hole. Jay Bruce plays first base today. Jack Reinheimer, first time we'll see him as a second baseman. 6th start he's made since joining the Mets.
And there's the starting pitcher. Tanner Roark was scratched. Austin Voth, the rookie, he made his major league debut back on July 14th at Citi Field, and the Mets just torched him. 4 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs. This is his second major league start. And the Ford defense, brought to you by your Tri-Ford dealers. The Nationals infield, Wieters the Gold Glover, Defoe another game at second base. And in the outfield, the youngster Victor Robles, along with Juan Soto. That is the future of this Nationals ball club.
Both throws a fastball in for a strike, and we're underway. Ahmed Rosario 4 for 11 in this series, hitting .329 in the month of September. And he hits one on the ground, a roller out to Turner at short. And one shortstop throws out another, helped out by a stretch from Zimmerman, and that's the first out of the day.
Big curveball from Voth. Both 26 years old. And there's Brandon, always smiling, always saying hello to the umpire and the catcher.
Nimmo's been hitting down in the lineup, but with McNeil sitting today, Nimmo moves up to the 2-hole, carries a .398 on base percentage into today's game. That's 3rd in the National League. Just behind Paul Goldschmidt and well behind Joey Votto. And he takes first pitch fastball on the inside edge for a strike.
It's been a nice season for Brandon. Took advantage of the injuries, of course, to Jay Bruce and Cespedes. A chance to play every day, and boy, has he performed.
Curveball misses down, a ball and a strike. Nimmo's riding a 28-game on-base streak. It's the longest for a Met since 2012, when David Wright had a 28-game streak. The last longer one belonged to Carlos Beltran in 2011. 32 straight games reaching base. And Nimmo takes a fastball for a strike, 1-2. Austin Voth, 3rd big league appearance, 2nd start. Keith mentioned his start against the Mets in July. He had an inning against the Braves 8 days ago, and that's been it as far as his major league resume. Spent most of this year in AAA at Syracuse, where he went 6-8 with a 4.37 ERA. Voth was a guy who was very much on their radar 2 years ago, minor league pitcher of the year for the Nats, but then had a dreadful year last year, a big step backwards for him, and had to reestablish himself as a prospect.
No, you're only as good as your last season, or the current season, Gary.
2-2 coming, and it's on the outside corner. Nimmo caught looking for the second out.
No. And again, I can't stress the fact that anything close on, we've got 2 teams playing the season out in the last week. I think anything borderline is going to go the pitcher's way. So as a hitter, you've got to go up there with the intent of swinging the bat.
Young Chris Siegel calling the balls and strikes today. Jim Wolf, DJ Rayburn, and Sam Holbrook, the crew chief, round out the crew.
This is a good crew right here, too. Good balls and strikes crew.
First pitch curveball misses down to Conforto, ball 1. Conforto 2 for 6 in this series with a double and a home run. He's got 8 home runs in September. 24 runs batted in. Both lead the major leagues. And back-to-back curveballs puts both behind 2-0. Who's Hot brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, he's been on fire, Michael. Really turned on the power and the production. And really finishing with a bang, so to speak. No pun intended.
Mean bang like
bang, bam, bam.
Hitting the ball hard?
Yes.
Like exit velocity
yes.
Bang?
Yes.
It's outside ball 4, and Conforto's on with a 2-out walk. I was trying to figure out where the pun was.
Well, maybe I shouldn't have said pun.
It was a sideways pun.
Right.
So Conforto's aboard with 2 out. Now Jay Bruce. Jay's put together back-to-back 2-hit games. It's the first time that Jay's done that since the first week of the season, when he had back-to-back 2-hit games also here in Washington. 4 for 8 in this series, has driven in 4 runs. He takes low and in for both, ball one. As Keith mentioned, it was supposed to be Tanner Roark pitching for the Nats today, but Roark was away for a few days. His wife just gave birth to their third child, so they figured they'd give him a few extra days and slot both in there for a spot start. So 2 months apart, both makes his first 2 big league starts, both against the Mets.
A little overcast sky. You can see the shadows on the field, but not really any negative effect.
Certainly not to the extent we had for last Saturday's game in Boston, when it was bright and sunny for a 4 o'clock start, and the shadows were a huge factor. It's always the danger of playing these late afternoon games, particularly this time of year. You get the distinct shadows on a sunny day.
Well, those old 5:30 twilight doubleheaders were no fun in the first 4 innings of the first game.
Bruce takes a changeup down. It's 3-1. Todd Frazier would be next. Jay had just 3 home runs when he went on the disabled list in June. He's had 6 since he came back a month ago. So it has been a revitalized Jay Bruce down the stretch of this season. And he takes it low, ball 4, so back-to-back 2-out walks. And the Mets have 2 men on. Now you can watch the Pix games on the go. Just log on to Pix11.com or download the Pix11 app for mobile devices. Does Haji use that one too?
I'm gonna have to ask him when I get home. I'm not sure. I'm sure he does.
I wouldn't want him to miss a single pitch. Here's Todd Frazier, 0 for 5 in this series and just 3 for 26 on this road trip. Mets evened up their trip with the win last night. They lost 2 of 3 in Philly, lost 2 of 3 in Boston, but they've taken the first 2 of this series, so they're 4-4 with today's game and then 1 more tomorrow before they wrap up the road portion of their schedule. Mets have a chance to finish over 500 on the road this year. They're 39-40 right now. And there's a strike, 1-1.
And I think another big thing too, Gary, I thought for sure they were headed for a 90-loss season again, and it looks like they're not going to get to 90. Not that that matters, but you know, 90's kind of has a bad connotation.
Yeah, well, they were there last year, so it will be an improvement if they win at least 1 more game. Mets have lost 82, clinching their 8th losing season in the last 10 years. The 2 years that they didn't have a losing record, they wound up in the postseason.
Right.
World Series in 15, wild card in 16. The other 8 of the last 10 all below 500. And a curveball fouled off, 2-2.
Well, 2015, the World Series year, they surprised the baseball world, and I think the Met fan base, I mean, they were going nowhere, and the acquisition of Yoenis Cespedes, the incredible 2 months that he had that carried the team to the division flag, and then the incredible postseason by Daniel Murphy, leading to the World Series, where it fell flat. But still, they got there.
2 out, 2 on, 2-2 to Frazier. And he fouls off a changeup. There's your Mets upcoming schedule, brought to you by Infinity, and that's all that's left. 1:30 game tomorrow here in D.C. and then home to play 3 with the Braves and 3 with the Marlins, wrapping up a week from tomorrow. Of course, the one that everybody's looking forward to is the game a week from tonight, when David Wright will start for the final time.
And kudos to you Met fans for filling up the stadium.
Frazier down on strikes. Voth gets him with a high fastball. A couple of strikeouts and a couple of walks in the inning for the rookie right-hander. No score. tourists to all the sites. There's your national starting lineup brought to you by Purple Bricks. Victor Robles has started all 3 games in this series now in center field. Adam Eaton has missed the whole series so far with some knee problems. And so it's virtually the same starting lineup for Davey Martinez as the Mets roll out Corey Oswalt this afternoon.
And there's Corey. It's to be his 3rd straight start in 3 appearances. His last start in Boston, where he only went 2 2/3. Gave up 1 unearned run. This is his 11th start in his 16th appearance.
Victor Robles 2 for 10 in this series. The 21-year-old takes a curveball for a strike, and it's 0-2. Robles, who missed more than half the season with an elbow injury, getting a late season look after his rookie teammate Juan Soto took the league by storm. He's been outflanked, Robles has, as the Nationals' #1 young player. And Oswalt picks off the outside corner, and he's got a strikeout to start his day.
The Mets defense brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Jack Reinheimer gets a start at second base today. Sat down Jeff McNeil. Nicky Callaway thought that McNeil's bat was a little sluggish. Give him a day off. Out in the outfield, well, these 2 corner outfielders have been carrying the load, doing a terrific job.
Trey Turner drives one toward the left field corner, and that one hops up against the wall. Conforto throws to second, but Turner just too fast and has himself a 1-out double. 25th double of the year for Turner, who reaches base in a 22nd straight game.
High fastball, wanted it away, got it belt high in. Turner up to the task, turns on it, short hops the wall. Turner hitting .268 on the season, has played every game this season. This is his.
Conforto played that ball perfectly off the wall, and with anybody else running, probably would have been able to throw him out. But Turner, or maybe the fastest player in the National League.
Michael's so much more comfortable out there in left field.
So here's Bryce Harper. Mets have held him in check so far in this series. 1 for 9 in the 2 games. Starts the day with 34 home runs, 1 behind Matt Carpenter for the National League lead. 97 runs batted in, 6th in the league. And first pitch, breaking ball outside. Harper leads the league in walks, 6th in on base percentage. He's had a big second half after a very disappointing first half of the season. Rosario playing right next to Turner at second base. Turner leads the league in steals with 40. And Harper fouls off a fastball, 1-1.
Well, I think the Mets are a little gun shy when it comes to the threat of a stolen base. And Turner, of course, with the 40 stolen bases this year. I mean, the Mets have had their fill of pilfered pillows.
Well, they are last in the major leagues at controlling the running game. Oswalt's done a fairly good job of keeping them close. He's only given up 3 steals in his 15 appearances. Rosario ran to the bag, and then time was asked for by Plawecki because he saw that Oswalt was ready to pitch with Rosario standing at second base. Turner 7 for 7 stealing third, and if memory serves, a couple of those have come against the Mets.
Very judicious with stealing third base and very successful. He just noticed a little thing right there. Here we are, Rosario. You see him holding Turner on. I mean, it's part of the game. It should happen, but it's good to see him come behind Turner, hold him, and then go back. He's been so hustling so much and playing with such energy. It's been a real treat to watch Ahmed this second half of this season.
And again, Rosario ran to the bag. This time Oswalt threw the pitch and missed with a changeup, 3-1.
Oh, I think Oswalt missed the sign there. There was a pickoff on there.
Well, Well, that's twice now that Rosario has been at second, and Oswalt has either thrown a pitch or been ready to throw a pitch.
Well, it just leaves your whole infield, left side of the infield, exposed.
Now he's behind on Harper, 3-1 with Anthony Rendon on deck. And Harper takes a changeup outside for ball 4. So Oswalt pitching like he wanted no part of Harper.
125th walk.
And that's a new career high for Harper, who leads the league. So now 2 aboard in the red hot Anthony Rendon. 2 for 8 in this series. Has driven in 4 runs in the 2 games. He's now reached base in 29 straight games, the longest active streak in the majors. And he has just crushed the Mets. Those are his numbers against the Mets this year. Last year he had the 3 home run, 10 RBI game against the Mets here.
Yeah, he likes it when the orange and blue come to town.
So Oswalt has the first inning traffic to contend with. First and second and 1 out. And a first pitch curveball lifted to left center. And over comes Jackson to call. And that's the second out. So Rendon had a first pitch curveball to hit, but got under it. And Oswalt escapes that with the second out. And that'll bring up Juan Soto.
Juan Soto, I tell you what, I've seen him enough now this season, and I think he's gotten better, more comfortable in the big leagues. He feels like he belongs. This is a hitter right here.
I don't know how the voters are going to choose between him and Ronald Acuna. I was looking at some of the numbers today. Acuna leads National League rookies in home runs. Soto leads in RBIs. They both have about the same batting average. Soto leads in slugging percentage. Acuna leads in on base percentage. I mean, they're almost 50-50. They've both been tremendous.
Yep.
Soto's 19 years old. Acuna's 20 years old. Just a tremendous infusion of top quality talent into this division. Soto's 2 for 9 in this series.
Look at Bobby Henley, the third base coach. Boy, I thought they were going to enforce coaches to stay in the coaching box. I wouldn't want to get that close if I was Mr. Henley. Helmet or no helmet.
Soto fouls back the fastball, and it's 0-2. I think they give them more latitude when there's a runner at second base to move down the line like that.
I think the reasoning is that with Henley, that much down the line, it gives the base runner can see him. So instead of, remember, it was always a verbal,
right,
you know, back. Now you can have a visual with as well as a vocal from your coach.
0-2 to Soto, and he lifts one to shallow right. Nimmo coming on and puts it away, and that retires the side. Oswalt gets around first inning trouble. No score after 1. Ready? What flavor do you prefer?
Not that
A
one.
little lime?
Not the lime.
Unless it's avocado.
You kidding?
Well, you know, we live in a different era. Avocado toast, avocado snow cone.
Maybe it's that character that we were supposed to see next homestand. Maybe it's Basil.
Or basil. Austin Jackson leads off in the second inning. Jackson hitless in his last 12 at bats. He has really struggled lately. Struck out all 4 at bats in this series. So we told you that the Braves beat the Phillies today to clinch the National League East. And just moments ago, the Cardinals got a walk-off home run from Tyler O'Neill to beat the Giants 5-4. And with that, the Nationals have been eliminated not only from the division, but also from the wild card race. So both these teams' playoff chances have now been completely obliterated.
So Colorado right now is on the outside trying to get back inside.
Strike 3 called, and that's 5 strikeouts and 5 at bats for Jackson in this series. Yeah, the Rockies now 2 behind the Cardinals with St. Louis's win today. But they're also, the Rockies are a game and a half behind the Dodgers for the division after they beat the Diamondbacks last night and the Dodgers lost. Dodgers got beat by San Diego. So that's not over yet. That's only 1 game in the loss column. Here's Kevin Plawecki, hitless in his last 16 at bats, and takes a curveball for a strike from Voth. There's the West with the Rockies winning and the Dodgers losing last night. They gained some ground back after getting swept by the Dodgers earlier in the week.
Well, it's what a shame. The worst possible scenario of getting swept. But they're right in the hunt. Colorado is not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. As you said, Gary, very important in the loss column. Only 1 behind. And Colorado will finish the final series at home against these Nationals.
It's a call strike to Plawecki, 1-2. So with the Cardinals winning this afternoon, they're now 2 games clear of the Rockies for the moment, but again just 1 in the loss column for that second wild card spot. So the Rockies have 2 opportunities to get in, but they're on the outside in both. 1-2 from Voth, and Plawecki fouls it away. Rockies face Patrick Corbin tonight in Arizona, and Corbin's been tremendous. Dodgers have Rich Hill on the mound against the Padres tonight. And Plawecki grounds one out to second. Defoe down to a knee. 2 out. So 2 out and nobody on. Around the Majors brought to you by Bob's online at mybobs.com. Those are the highest winning percentages by division. The AL West, maybe surprisingly to some, has the highest, with Houston, Oakland, and Seattle both all 3 well over 500. I think a lot of people would have guessed the AL East, but they're dragged down by Baltimore's 109 losses.
Yep.
Here's Jack Reinheimer playing second base today. First time he's played second base in the big leagues, but he started 13 games there in the minors this year. Let's have looked at Reinheimer in left field, at third base, at shortstop. One thing about those division records, something's going to happen this year that has not happened in the last 14 seasons. The National League is going to have a winning record in interleague play against the American League. You've already clinched that. American League had won that 14 consecutive years. Slider off the plate to Reinheimer, and it's 2-1.
I still feel the American League is the better of the 2 leagues.
The problem in the American League is you've got 200 lost teams already, and that skews those numbers. They're very top heavy. And Reinheimer pops one up. Defoe tracking it through a gust of wind and puts it away to retire the side. Both gets the Mets out 1-2-3 in the second. No score in D.C. the more there is to like. And right now, there's a lot to see at your local Hyundai dealer. Birthday party.
Sweet.
It's a lovely hat.
You want me to read the copy?
Like a unicorn thing?
I don't know what the heck it is.
It's very lovely.
Very cute.
Home second inning. Ryan Zimmerman leads off against Corey Oswalt. Zimmerman 3 for 8 in this series, and he drives one to left to center field, but Jackson standing his ground to make the catch. A bullet off the bat of Zimmerman. Hit hard for the first out. Now Matt Wieters, the Washington catcher, 0 for 5 in this series. Nats have seen Oswalt before. Corey threw one of his best starts against Washington in July. Allowed just 1 run and 2 hits over 5 innings and a no decision. Then he faced them in relief in late August and gave up 6 runs in 1 inning. So 2 vastly different experiences. Corey had a stretch in July and August when the Mets were strapped for starters, where he looked like he might be a semi-permanent member of the rotation. But then when Jason Vargas came back from injury, they had to decide whether to stick with Oswalt or put Vargas back in the rotation, and they opted for Vargas.
Right. And the only reason why Oswalt is back in the rotation is because Zach Wheeler's season is over. They've shut Zach down. A tremendous season for Zach. Really came on strong from June on. Pitched spectacular.
Well, here's all you have to know is that since the All-Star break, the best ERA in the Mets staff does not belong to Jacob deGrom. As Wieters goes around for strike 3, it belongs to Zach Wheeler. I mean, that doesn't happen very often.
Well, he pitches like he did his last 19 or 20 starts next year or any season. He's going to be a winner.
Well, if he keeps going the way he went the last 3.5 months, he'll be a Cy Young contender next year. And you know, that's the great hope for this ball club. It's not that different than it's been the last several years, is that you have all 4 of these guys pitch to their potential at the same time as they did in 2015. And well, you got a chance to really do some special things.
Well, you've got if Zach can continue, you've got a tremendous 1-2-3 in the top of the rotation.
And your hope is that Steven Matz can join that as well and give you quite the quartet.
Well, with Matz, at least for Matz, he stayed healthy this year.
And really, I mentioned this last night, and I think it's worth reiterating. Last year was deGrom's first year back after that nerve transposition surgery, and a good year last year, and he took it to another level this year. This was Matz's first year back from the same surgery, and you hope maybe he can make that same leap next year after having that first year where he was able to pitch pain-free.
Well, he only missed a couple of starts. He was pushed back a couple of starts this year. That's a win. A win-win with Steven.
Ball 4 to Defoe, so he's on with a 2-out walk, and that'll bring the pitcher up. Second walk given up by Oswalt. So now Austin Voth, who's had only 1 big league at bat.
And that's a strikeout.
Well, that doesn't mean they'll all be strikeouts. I think we need a bigger sample size. Although he didn't do much hitting in the minors. 4 for 62 in his minor league career. That's .065. Both fouls it back 1-1. Well, the Mets have clinched the season series from the Nationals. A lot of runs. Well, that scored 24 in one game? 25. Last year they had a 23. This year they had a 25. Oh, check swing Tapper. Reinheimer in to get it and throws out both to end the inning. So Oswalt works around the 2-out walk as the Shadows start to play. No score after 2 in DC.
White hits that one a long way. Left center field, and he comes to Montreal and hits his first major league home run.
First home run of his career for David Wright, and he smoked it.
That's nice to see that reception in the Met dugout.
Well, that'll make you smile. Look how young he looked. Greeted by Jay So and Cliff Floyd after his first big league home run.
I don't think that David has aged in his face at all. I think he still has the youthful appearance, youthful looks.
Well, David will be activated on Tuesday when the Mets get home. Mickey Callaway has said several times over the last week that he may use him to pinch hit leading up to his final start next Saturday night. But it's all going to depend on how David feels and how quickly he can get ready and all that. It's going to be an incredible event next week when David goes to third base for the final time. Corey Oswalt looking for his first big league hit. He's got 0 for 15 in his career. Ahmed Rosario and Brandon Nimmo to follow for the Mets in the third against Austin Voth, making just his second big league start. So far these rookies have acquitted themselves well. And Voth gets the curveball over, and it's 0-2. You know, we showed the head-to-head numbers between the Mets and the Nats this year. I think it's worth noting that the Mets have won the season series from 3 of their 4 division rivals. As Oswalt strikes out for the first out. They have already won the season series from the Marlins. They beat the Phillies in the season series. The only team that they haven't been able to contend with is the Braves. And one of the reasons why the Braves have clinched the division as early as they have is because they have completely dominated the Mets and the Marlins.
Well, you know what they say, you got to beat up on those little second division teams.
Here's Rosario up for the second time, grounded out to short his first time up.
Another reason too, the Braves are a tremendous road team. 45-30 on the road this year. That's 15 over, and that's pretty outstanding.
Well, the likelihood is that the Braves will play the West winner in the division series. It would be either the Dodgers or the Rockies. Rosario drives one out to right, chasing Harper back, and Bryce makes the catch. Well, 2 out.
Well, I'm particularly happy for Brian Snitker, the manager of the Atlanta Braves. A lifer in the minor leagues, baseball lifer. And congratulations to Brian on just really a wonderful season.
It certainly has been an interesting year as far as guys who put in their dues as minor league managers being successful in the National League. Snitker in Atlanta, and more recently Mike Schilt in St. Louis.
Well, Schilt, yes. The Cardinals were a rudderless ship when he took over. They fired Mike Matheny, and they instantly, I think after about a 2-week transitional period, the Cardinals caught fire.
0-2 to Nimmo, who struck out his first time up. And, you know, the Cardinals look like they might be headed to the postseason. Big win for them today to give them a 2-game edge in that wild card race. And they still have an outside shot at the National League Central. They're 4 games behind, but they also have the Brewers as well as the Cubs in front of them.
Yeah, that'll be a tough one.
Bouncing away from Wieters, and it's 1-2 to Nimmo. Well, the Cardinals have gotten contributions from some guys who I don't think they necessarily were banking on when the year began. Guys like Tyler O'Neill, who had that game-winning home run. Harrison Bader has done a marvelous job for them in center field and hit better than they thought. Nimmo rolls one slowly, circling in his Defoe to get it, and that retires the side. 7 in a row retired by Austin Voth. No score as we go to the bottom of the third. Package today. Choose from full season, half season, or 20-game plans that include opening day and the Subway Series. Plus, for a limited time, receive an authentic or replica Mets jersey with your purchase. Purchase your plan today at Mets.com/ticket plans. Victor Robles drives one down the left field line, and that hops over the wall for a ground rule double. And Robles will have to stop at second. He's still running, but they've already signaled ground rule double. So he'll go back. Robles jumping on the first pitch in the bottom of the third inning. And drilling it down the line and hopping over the wall.
Just as Trey Turner did in the first inning. First pitch fastball, the same area, belt high in. And that one clearly bounced over the fence. And it's the same pitch.
So Oswalt's given up 2 hits, both of the identical variety. First time the Nats have had the leadoff man on today. And now Turner, who hit that first double. Let's have the corners pinched in against Turner. With Robles and Turner, the Nats have so much speed at the top of their lineup now.
Maybe we're getting back to the old-fashioned table setters at the top. You know, we had that one period where everybody was putting their best power hitter in the 2-hole. I could never put my arms around that.
Well, certainly plenty of teams are still doing that.
Yep.
But it all depends on how your team is composed.
Right.
Grounded foul. I mean, the Mets had Cespedes hitting second early in the season when they were basically running out a lineup full of what they hoped would be home run hitters.
Right. And you had Rosario hitting in the 9th hole a lot. I can see it in the American League more. You can have a leadoff type hitter in the 9-hole.
You know, the Phillies do it with Rhys Hoskins hitting second, and the Cubs do it with Chris Bryant hitting second. And
just depends on your personnel.
Exactly. But the analytics will tell you that all things being equal, there are more RBI opportunities in the 2-hole. It's hard for me to fathom that, especially in the National League where you have the pitcher batting 9th.
You cannot tell me that I would have driven in 10 more runs a year batting in the 2nd hole. With a pitcher hitting 9th, there was hardly any opportunity to drive in a run in the 1st inning. But
well, it also depends on what kind of leadoff hitter you have, right? It used to be that stealing bases was a huge piece of being a leadoff hitter. Now, you have some leadoff hitters who are that type, and I think Rosario is what the Mets envision if he can fill that role long term.
Oh, this kid wants to be an ump.
Everybody has aspirations in life.
Oh, how that is sweet.
Turner drives one to deep left field. Conforto gives it a glance, but that ball is gone. Trey Turner with a 2-run homer, his 18th of the year, and the Nats jump in front 2-0.
Okay, I believe this is going to be another fastball inside, and I think that Corey Oswalt is going to have to keep the ball away from the right-hand hitters. He's been burned 3 times now. They want to come inside this time, and they do. And he's not getting in on them.
Well, Turner is a top of the order batter who is not just possessed of great speed, but he's just a terrific player. Got a double and a home run today. And the Nats have the early lead. Now it's Harper who walked his first time up. And he goes after a first pitch sinker, 0-1. First run of the game brought to you by Hyundai. The longer you look, the more there is to like. Cut by Harper on a high fastball, and it's 0-2. Harper's walk in the first inning is 125th, a new career high for him and a new Nats record. There's their Nats records, and then there are franchise records, which take in the Montreal years. We're not great here about acknowledging the fact that it's the same franchise. When they first started here, there was no mention of it at all. They have paid cursory glances to their heritage as the Montreal Expos, but still, and there are those notes which did not exist when they first opened the ballpark. But it is very much the same franchise.
And all those, excuse me, all those Washington teams going back, way back in history, historically, were American League teams.
Two different teams. The one that became the Minnesota Twins, and then the team that then became the Texas Rangers. Correct. Into the shift and picked off by Rosario. That's the first out of the inning. Well, if you add up the two stops in Montreal and Washington, these are the franchise leaders against the Mets.
Ellis Valentine. I tell you, Ellis Valentine was such a talent. And I know he came over to the Mets and things didn't work out here, but I tell you what, he had some. That outfield that Montreal had with Tim Raines, I think Ellis Valentine, and Andre Dawson, I think they all played together. Or Warren Cromartie was part of that outfield.
And that was such an enormously talented team in the late 70s and early 80s.
And never won.
You notice, though, on that franchise list, there were 4 Expos and only 1 National.
And that would have been Daniel Murphy as the solo pilot.
Rendon flied out his first time up. Oswalt in his last 2 starts hasn't gone beyond 3 innings, pitching in the 3rd inning today. And this is with a curveball, 2-2. And now 3-2. He's already walked 2 today, struck out 2, giving up 2 runs and 3 hits. Juan Soto waiting on deck. 3-2 coming to Rendon. And he hits this one out to right center. Chasing it is Nimmo. And he gets there for the out. He took an en route to that ball, starting back and then cutting across. But wound up in the right spot.
He had it down. He thought it was hit a little bit deeper than it was.
So 2 out after the home run by Turner. Now here's Soto, who flied out his first time up. So if you had to choose Soto or Acuna for Rookie of the Year, where would you go? It's tough, isn't it?
It is, and I'd like to get their numbers up in front of me, all their numbers. But Acuna and Albies were really the catalysts, I mean, of that Brave team at the top of the order. Yeah, you're right, Gary. He just runs batted in. They're right there. Okay, so they're 2 and 3 in rookie batting average, 296. Acuna 290. Home runs, Acuna 26, Soto 20. RBIs, Soto 65. That's big for me. Acuna 58. Multiple.
Soto swinging 3-0, and he pops it up. And Frazier puts it away to retire the side.
It's really a tough call, Gary.
It really is.
Someone's going to be disappointed.
2-run homer by Trey Turner puts the Nats in front. They're up 2-0 after 3. 29th, when the Mets play the Marlins at 7:10 p.m. for Fan Appreciation Weekend. After the game, you can enjoy a fireworks show that will light up the Citi Field sky, presented by Verizon. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Fourth inning, Mets down 2-0. Michael Conforto leads off against Austin Voth. There's a pigeon sitting on the mound right near Voth's right foot.
Oh, he can't pitch. He's going to pitch.
He's ignoring it.
I can't believe it. It's going to fly when he steps towards it. No, very brazen.
Stayed right where it was.
Oh, even look at this, charging the mound.
Well, it's charging more toward home plate.
That's a very brazen pigeon.
I mean, I was shocked, as you were, that when he made his stride down the mound, that the pigeon stayed put.
I would have to move it because, you know, the odds are so against it, but one ball off the bat.
You remember Randy Johnson? He obliterated the bird, which flew right between the mound and home plate.
I'm just shocked that Voth hasn't just chased him off.
Well, that's great concentration on his part. Great focus.
Well, how about the hitter too? I wouldn't want him there with something moving around in my vision.
Well, especially on that first pitch when he was on the side, the arm side of the mound. Now he's on the other side. That diamond dry they use on the mound must be very appetizing.
He's got to have more appetizing tidbits up there in the stands for him.
Yeah, but that's far away. He'd have to fly and flap his wings. Maybe he's a more sedentary pigeon. More used to being earthbound. Two-two to Conforto. And he takes one the other way, and Rendon will get to it, but no chance to throw him out. And Conforto's got an infield hit. So with the shift on, Conforto found the right spot, and he's on base for the second time. And the pigeon couldn't care less. So the Mets have their first hit of the afternoon. And here's Jay Bruce, who walked his first time up. Both had retired 7 in a row before that infield hit. Quite a different outing for both from his first big league start, which also came against the Mets 2 months ago. He gave up 7 runs in that start over 4 1/3. And he throws a fastball by Bruce, 0-1. And Bruce looks one to shallow left center. Soto called off by Robles. And Nate's like a center fielder and takes charge for the first down.
He was hungry. He wanted that ball. He didn't really have to go in there and take charge. If that had been me, I'd have let Soto have it.
Yeah, but you're not a center fielder.
No. I did play left field. I did play right field in a St. Louis uniform. I displayed an excellent arm.
I have no doubt. But could you go back and get him?
And that was the trouble. I had one that went back to the wall, and I got to the wall and I went to jump to leap up, Gary, and my shoulder went right into the padding, and it just that was the end of my jump.
You stuck and then fell.
It just kind of put an end to it. But I played well out there. I was fun.
Frazier fouls him off. Did your mind wander out there, not being as close to the action?
No. What I did find out was I was in Cincinnati, I believe. Turf field, and I had my spikes out there, and I had to come in. A guy went first to third on a base hit to right, and I came in and made the throw, a strong throw to third, and hit the cutoff man.
Of course.
But I planted my front foot the wrong way, and I realized.
Frazier drives one out to Harper and right, 2 out.
That with the steel spikes, when I took the stride to throw, there's no moving of the feet once you're planted on turf, and you can hurt your knee. And when I threw, I kind of had to come across my body, and you know, fortunately I didn't get hurt. I robbed Gary Carter of a base hit. He had a line drive in Busch Stadium, Old Busch. I was playing left field, and he had a bullet in the gap, and I cut across and backhanded it. Yeah.
How many games did you play out there? Half a dozen, maybe?
Oh, I don't think that much. I don't believe that much. I think George was hurt.
George Hendrick?
Yes, and Whitey stuck me out there. I don't know why he stuck me in left.
Well, they always, you know, put the less experienced outfielder in left.
Well, you get your best arm in right, though.
Well, it depends who was the other corner outfielder. Let's see. 6 starts in the outfield. 2 of them in 1981 and 4 of them in 1982.
So George must have been out for a bit in '82.
Well, he had 2 starts in right in '82.
Yeah.
So he's had overall 4 starts in left and 2 starts in right.
Okay. I didn't make any errors.
No errors. Let's see.
There was a sacrifice fly on one that I made a strong throw home right at Obi. Was first and third, and Obi was playing third base. Ken Oberfeld.
No assists.
He cut it off. Sorry, I didn't overthrow the cutoff man.
Right. Jackson takes one the other way, but Harper comes in to grab it, and that retires the side. Leadoff hit by Conforto, but he doesn't move. Oh, the pigeon does have wings. 2-0 Nats in the 4th. Some of us want to be ball players. Some dream of being announcers. Some kids, they want to be umpires.
Oh, this is terrific. We've been watching him in commercial, folks. And
this is young Vincent Steele, who has all the equipment.
Oh, he's ready.
And he is going to shadow Chris Siegel, who's calling the balls and strikes. He's got the indicator.
He's got it going on. Come on.
It's a little big for his hand. Go two-handed. Zimmerman hits one back up the middle. Diving stop by Reinheimer from his knees, but too late. That's an eye-popping play by Reinheimer. Couldn't get the out, but did well just to stop that ball from getting to the outfield.
Well, that's the play you got to make, folks, when it's a tight game and you got a runner on second base and you want to keep the ball in the infield. That's when you got to dive so the runner can't score from second. Nice effort right there from Reinheimer.
So the Nats get the leadoff man on for the second straight inning. Fourth hit against Corey Oswalt. And now Matt Wieters, who struck out his first time up.
I want to see that kid's strike call.
Well, you'd like to see his first and second strike call, but more importantly, his third strike.
Yes.
See how he dials it up.
Yeah, we've got an eye on him.
See if he gives it the full Leslie Nielsen treatment.
I don't think I've ever seen a young man, he's a boy obviously, that came to the ballpark, wanted to be an umpire, mimicking the ump. That's a first. You think you've seen everything.
Got the stance going on.
He's practicing.
You do a lot of those half squats as an umpire. You got to really work on the quads.
I want to come on. Let's see the. Come on. Oh, he wasn't paying attention. There's your opportunity for. There you go. Oh, very good.
He's just on delay. He's still working on his call.
He's trying to figure out which.
There you go. Oh, that is good. I throw the new ball back to the pitcher.
Right on cue.
Outstanding.
Right on cue.
That's great.
Oh gosh.
Consulting with the replay center in New York about a rules interpretation. 3-2 to Wieters with Zimmerman at first and nobody out.
This is great.
3-2, given the count. Nice job. Pitch. And Wieters gets one in the air to right. Nimmo got a late start back. He's on the warning track, right at the wall to make the catch. And back to first goes Zimmerman.
Watch his right hand at the very last moment. Where's that wall? George Hendrick was one of the best. We were just talking about George earlier. Really was a tremendous defensive right fielder. Strong, accurate arm.
Vincent gets in position as Wilmer Defoe steps in and fouls back the first pitch. I think he needs a smaller indicator that he can manipulate with his left hand.
He's got to watch, pay attention a little more.
Well, it's not his job, you know. He's just having fun. I mean, some of us, have trouble paying attention to every pitch over the course of a 9-inning game.
I agree. That wouldn't be me, would it?
I just said some of us.
Are you insinuating?
Runner goes. Plawecki's throwing plenty of time. I don't know what that was. Maybe a blown hit and run play. Zimmerman out by a mile for the second out. Defoe took the pitch, so somebody must have missed a sign. Zimmerman had only attempted one stolen base this year.
Well, that's hit and run. He missed the sign.
And Rosario had the ball waiting for him. So 2 out, 1-2 to Defoe, and he hits a 2-hopper to Reinheimer. And that retires the side. We're through 4 in D.C. Batter up. 2-0 Nats. my favorite part is that he has the whisk broom for dusting off the plate. That's unbelievable.
Oh, this is just priceless. Priceless. I hope the parents are taking footage of this.
Should enroll him at Harry Wendelstedt's school now. Kevin Plawecki grounded out his first time up. Could be in the big leagues in 5 years. Could be the Doogie Howser of umpires. Well, the pigeon has moved from the mound to third base. Obviously, there's more nourishment to be found there. Plawecki grounded out his first time up. And takes fastball for a strike from Austin Voth, who's turned in 4 scoreless innings. Quite a change of pace from what we saw from Voth the first time when he gave up 7 runs in 4 1/3 against the Mets, making just his second big league start today. Plawecki had 2 hits against him in that first time around. Kevin's struggling right now, 0 for his last 17. Mets have had just 1 hit through the first 4 innings, and that was an infield single by Conforto. Plawecki, Reinheimer, and the pitcher's spot due up for the Mets in the 5th, and nobody up in the Mets bullpen, so it looks like Oswalt will go a little deeper into this game, where he went 3 and then 2 2/3 in his last 2 starts. Well, they're going to push him a little further today. I think it's safe to assume that after Lugo and Gazelman both went back-to-back days, that we probably won't see either one of them again this weekend. Here's the 0-2. And it's inside. Talking to Mickey Callaway, he would not have used either one of them last night, except that he wanted to make sure he had his best out there to protect DeGrom's will.
Yes. DeGrom now 9-9.
Breaking ball off the plate, 2-2 to Plawecki. Your high-speed pitch brought to you by Infinity and Power the Drive. It's both by a deuce. Well, DeGrom will get 1 more start Wednesday against the Braves and perhaps pitch the last day on short rest. But the more people I've talked to within the Mets organization, the more there seems to be a brick wall being put up for Jake as far as getting that last start. It just serves no purpose.
It does. Hopefully the next time out, another brilliant performance.
I mean, he has a chance if he beats the Braves Wednesday to have a winning record, and unless he completely blows up, have an enormous lead in the ERA race, and that should be enough. 3-2 to Plawecki.
I'd like to see him get that 10th win.
That's how it stands right now. I mean, the ERA race is not close. 2/3 of a run better than Nola. Plawecki pops one up behind the plate. Wieters looking for room, has to push the umpire out of the way and makes the catch. Now I bet the kid behind the plate, Vincent, would not have gotten in Wieters' way the way Chris Siegel just did. For more on our young umpire to be, let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Yeah, Gary, no way he would have gotten in the way. This kid is locked in. He knows exactly what to do. He's 10 years old. His name is Vincent Steele from Raleigh, North Carolina, and this is what he does. He does this every game. He goes to watch the Carolina Mudcats play pretty often. Also at home when he's watching games on TV, he dresses like an umpire and basically calls the entire game. He's been doing this for 2 to 3 years, his father said. But the most interesting little thing that I got speaking with his father moments ago, I didn't want to interrupt Vincent while he was in the middle of everything, is that whereas most kids the day after games will wake up in the morning, they'll check box scores, see what their favorite players did, Vincent will go to MLB.com and he will run through every game looking for the ejections and the replay reviews, and then he will go back and watch those and make his own calls, see if the judgment was correct. With this kid, it's unbelievable what he does and how much of a fan of umpires he has become and wants to be one day.
Reinheimer rolls one out to short. Turner has to hurry the throw and just gets Reinheimer for the second out. Do we have any idea, Steve, what inspired Vincent on this career course?
Yeah, so I asked his father, and he said initially he was fascinated by catchers, and he explained, you know, if you're watching a baseball game on TV, the point of view, you're looking at the catcher and the umpire, and he loved the equipment. And somewhere over the course of time, It switched from the catchers to being fascinated with everything that umpires do and really wanting to understand the rules, why they did what they did. And it's kind of evolved to this. And like his father was just telling me as well, umpires, they don't have too many fans often, and so the umpire community has kind of adopted him, and the guys love him. They give him a lot of equipment before the game today. He was apparently really upset because he couldn't find his counter in his hotel room to count balls and strikes. So he met with the umpires before the game and said, hey guys, any of you guys have an extra counter? And somebody did. They gave him an old counter. So what he's using today is one of the umpires on the field.
So it's a new indicator for young Vincent, which explains why he's been messing with it so much. He's probably getting used to it.
He should have the real McCoy anyway. If he wants, that's what he wants to be.
That's a great story. Most kids who are fond of wearing masks, they want to be Batman, but he wants to be an umpire. Good for him. Oswalt strikes out for the second time. 5 scoreless innings for Austin Voth. We're halfway through, 2-0 Nats. It was 30 years ago, 1988, that Darryl Strawberry won his only National League home run title. 39 home runs in '88. Probably should have been the MVP.
Yeah, he did not have a great second half, if I recall. And McReynolds had a great second half, and they kind of canceled each other out. Kirk Gibson got the MVP, which I didn't feel that he should have been.
Led the league in slugging, led the league in OPS, led the league in home runs. 101 RBIs. Michael Taylor will pinch hit for Austin Voth, leading off in the bottom of the 5th. So Voth, after 5 scoreless innings, will give way. Matt Grace is up in the bullpen. Taylor's been kind of the forgotten man for the Nats with the emergence of Victor Robles. His playing time has dried up. Pinch hitting against Corey Oswalt in the 5th. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Well, they're certainly giving Robles a look.
Taylor's only appearance in this series has been as a pinch runner. And Oswalt strikes out Taylor with a curveball for the first out. 3rd strikeout for Corey. 1 down in the home 5th. Wasn't really close in that 1988 home run race.
And Shea played big. It was a big, it's a pitcher's park. The Astrodome, Glenn Davis was he had quite a run there, and the Astrodome was cavernous.
Victor Robles bluffs at a bunt and takes a fastball for a strike. So if Darryl had played in a smaller ballpark, and he got to play at Yankee Stadium obviously later in his career, and
Philadelphia.
yeah, I mean, if he had played in Atlanta.
I mean Philadelphia Old Veteran Stadium.
Yeah.
Yep. And or even Three Rivers. Three Rivers played a little bigger than. Well, how about Darryl if he'd have played in Wrigley?
Riverfront. I mean, there were all sorts of better home run hitters ballparks, and you know, he never hit 40 in his career. 39 was his top end.
It's too bad he didn't get that 40. He had a tremendous power. I remember he hit a the home run he hit in Montreal where he hit the roof.
Oh, on opening day. That was amazing.
But the one he hit in the Astrodome, there was 5 tanks and upper decks, and the top 2 were shut down, and they had a little old-fashioned popcorn cart, and it was just sitting there all by itself, and he hit it. I'll never forget it. I can still visualize the swing, the flight of the ball, and we had the third base dugout in the Astrodome, and I was just stunned.
Was there popcorn in the popcorn?
No, it was empty. There was no one up there. It was a bomb. Oh gosh.
In the air to left, and Conforto is there, and that retires Robles, 2 out.
Darryl, it was just the shoulder length. That's about a little less than what I kept my feet apart. Not a big stride. Enabled the hip rotation, and he was so strong. Had such strong hands and wrists. And I always felt that he was the second coming of Willie McCovey. Because when Willie McCovey came up, Gary, he was a string bean too, and Darryl developed into, when he became mature. And grew into a man's body. He was strong. He learned to hit left-handers pretty good too, boy. He really came a long way against lefties. He stayed in there.
Off the plate to Turner, and it's 2-1. Trey Turner's 2-run homer, accounting for the only runs in this game. That came in the third. He also doubled back in the first. Oswald with a chance for his first 1-2-3 inning of the day. And Turner nubs one foul on the slider. 2-2.
Well, he's wisely keeping the ball away from Turner in this at bat. Turner 2 for 2. Double and a 2-run home run, both pulled down the left field line, both fastballs belt high inside.
Looks like this will be Oswald's last batter either way. Jerry Blevins ready to face Harper if Turner keeps the inning going. And Turner takes strike 3 call. Got him looking at a curveball to end the inning. 4th strikeout for Oswald, his first 1-2-3 of the day. Still 2-0. Periodically taking a look at each player's season best, and for Brandon Nimmo, that came back home in the Mountain West, back at Coors Field, where he used to watch the Rockies from his home in Wyoming. His family was on hand. 2 home runs, 4 hits on the night, and a big hug from Dad when it was all over.
That was when he just started to get a chance to play every day, and that was the first really major red-hot streak we saw Brandon Nimmo go through. He was scalding.
Yeah, he had hit a couple of home runs in the series in Arizona right before that, and then went to Colorado, and that was the first game of that series, and he just had a marvelous day. Ahmed Rosario leads off against Matt Grace, who takes over the pitching for the Nats as we go to the 6th.
Well, Matt Grace pitched in the first game of this series. He was in relief of Matt Scherzer, only 1/3 of an inning. McNeil hit a leadoff triple, and Jay Bruce drove him in. Only 1/3 of an inning.
So a very different second big league start for Austin Voth. First start gave up 7 runs in 4 1/3. Today, 5 innings, no runs, 1 hit. Rosario hits a 2-hopper to Turner, and that's the first out for Grace in the 6th. Voth threw 73 pitches, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, just the infield hit by Conforto in his 5 scoreless innings of work. So now Nimmo at sea level. 0 for 2 today, struck out and grounded out.
I mean, that's a ballpark. When you go to Coors Field, you want to be in a red hot streak, because then you're gonna leave that that series very happy.
Grace misses with the slider for ball 1. And Nimmo grounds one right at Defoe. And that's the second out. So 2 up, 2 ground ball outs for Grace in the 6th. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Bob's. Everything's better with a Bob-O-Pedic. Find out why at mybobs.com. So now Conforto, who's been on base twice with a walk and the Mets only hit, an infield single that he grounded to the left side with the Nats in a full shift, and they don't have the full shift on him now with the lefty on the mound. And slider off the plate for ball 1. Pops fastball inside, 2-1 to Conforto. Nichols' walk in the first inning was his 79th of the year. He's in the top 10 in the league in walks, but he's also in the top 10 in the league in strikeouts. 79 walks, 152 strikeouts. Slider misses low and in. It's 3-1. And Michael takes inside, and he's got another walk. On base for the 3rd straight time. So the Mets have a 2-out base runner, and now Jay Bruce trudging to the plate. Jay has walked and flied out today, 0 for 1.
I've never heard that term. Trudging.
Didn't it look like he was trudging?
I remember a Frank Zappa song that said trudging.
I don't.
I was trudging across the tundra, mile after mile.
Well, you know, when you're on the tundra, you have a little choice but to trudge.
Until you came upon St. Alfonso, the Paris of St. Alfonso.
You're leaving me in the tundra, kid.
That was a terrific album. That was the Apostrophe album when Frank was the Mothers of Invention. That was the name of their group.
Just before Moon Unit and Dweezil.
Yes, it was. It was the advent of the zircon encrusted tweezer.
1-2 to Bruce. You realize that 99.9% of our audience has no idea what you're talking about.
But if they have a curious nature, they can go on Google or whatever search engine they have and find out.
Mercifully, the inning is over as Bruce strikes out. Not mercifully for Bruce striking out, but mercifully for the end of this conversation. We're going to the bottom of the 6th, 2-0 Nats. Became the first visiting reliever in this ballpark to use the Nats' new bullpen cart. Now Jerry Blevins takes his turn, getting the sweet ride in.
There's Jerry's numbers. Remember, he had a really miserable first half of the season. His ERA well above 5, but he righted the ship. He could not find his curveball the whole first half of the season, Gary, if you recall. And
Bryce Harper, the first man to face him. Harper's got 2 home runs against Blevins, including 1 this year.
he had a big home run off Blevins, Harper that is, on July 12th.
Harper today has walked and lined out to short, 0 for 1. And Jerry starts him with a fastball, and Harper puts a charge into one to center. Jackson back and has just enough room to make the catch. One pitch, one long out.
Got under it a little bit. He's got that uppercut swing, that home run swing. And it's an encore here as far as Harper running out fly balls.
There's Rendon with 1 out, and takes a curveball that wraps around the plate, ball 1. So Corey Oswalt, much better start today. Went 5 innings, allowed 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 home run, 74 pitches for Oswalt. After he failed to go beyond 3 the last 2 starts, Rendon drives one to left center, and that goes by Conforto to the wall. Michael drops it. Rendon's going to stop at second base. Rendon had already broken it down going into the bag before Conforto bobbled the ball. Otherwise, he should have been on third base. It'll be a double for Rendon.
Well, he can hit. No, it's just a high fastball out over the plate. Mistake by Blevins there, and fully taken advantage of by the 300 hitter. It's hitting the ball right up at the plate right there. Just before that was just after contact.
So Rendon reaches base for a 30th straight game, the longest current streak in the majors. 5th hit of the day for the Nationals, and now Juan Soto, who's 0 for 2, and he takes curveball inside for ball 1. Soto's fly to right, popped up to third. Two and out. Juan Soto, who will turn 20 next month. 20, Keith.
Yeah.
Next month.
I was in the big leagues when I was 20. Wasn't performing like young Juan Soto was. Not even close.
There's your Nationals box score, brought to you by Nissan. Trey Turner's 2-run homer, the only scoring in this game. It came in the 3rd inning against Oswald. Well, Soto at a 3-0 count his last at bat, swung and popped up. He's got a 3-0 count again with Zimmerman on deck, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Well, we've been talking about Soto and Acuna and their race for the Rookie of the Year, and it could not be closer.
Well, you know what's wonderful about these two young players is that they are a new generation of ball players that are exciting to watch.
Reinheimer handles the grounder and throws out Soto for the 2nd out as Rendon goes to 3rd. I think in the end, what I believe will happen is that Acuna will get a little extra credit because his team won the division, and that he'll end up winning. I think Soto was well ahead before Acuna went on that great run in August when he had all those leadoff home runs, and I think from that point on, with the Braves running away with the division, I think that's what's going to get it for him.
Acuna missed some time too with injury, a lot of time. So those numbers, I think it would be, I think, moot. It would be Acuna's if he hadn't gotten hurt and performed at the level he has all year.
Well, Acuna also came up earlier. I mean, Soto didn't come up till the latter part of May.
Correct.
Here's Zimmerman, who takes up and away for ball 1. Zimmerman lined out to center, then had an infield hit in the 4th. But 2 players to grow on, that's for sure. But only one will be playing in October. And Jerry misses away with a fastball, 2-0 to Zimmerman. And now he'll be intentionally walked with Matt Wieters coming up. This will give Zimmerman balls 3 and 4 gratis.
Abra.
Cadabra.
Okay.
You may not believe this. I have trouble believing this. That is the first time that Zimmerman has ever faced Blevins.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, of course, they were teammates, and Blevins is a guy who is brought in to get lefties out, but still, you'd think they would have run across each other at some point. Wieters, on the other hand, is 0 for 6 against Blevins, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Wieters turning around about right-handed, his weaker side. He's hitting just 186 as a right-hand batter this year. Rendon at 3rd, Zimmerman at 1st with 2 out. Wieters hit one to the right field wall that Nimmo caught his last time up and was batting left-handed. And he takes the curveball low and in, 1-1. And Jerry hadn't thrown his curveball for a strike yet. Late afternoon start. Lights are on now. Skies are overcast. Autumn approaches. There's a good curveball by Blevins, and it's 1-2. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Ford. For great deals on Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs, visit buyfordnow.com.
Well, when we get home, we'll be in autumn in New York.
We'll be on the other side of the autumnal equinox.
I just listened to that song. I hadn't listened to it in years. Autumn in New York. The other night when you were in Philadelphia and I was home relaxing on the couch listening to music, I decided to play it. Hadn't heard it in years.
I love when you tweet out your musical selections when you're sitting and
I haven't done that in a while.
luxuriating in your manse.
I actually gave a concert one night. And people wanted me to do playlists, which I may do in the off season when I have more time.
Well, once you get your windows cleaned, you should have nothing but time.
Well, that's true. Maybe I'll get up there Monday.
Zimmerman runs. Wieters drives one to deep left center, headed toward the bullpen, and it's out of here. Matt Wieters with a 3-run homer, his 7th of the year, just his 2nd as a right-hand batter. And now the Nationals have a 5-0 lead.
Well, this had to be a high fastball. Wieters a high ball hitter from the right side.
So the Mets intentionally walked Zimmerman to get to Wieters, and Wieters foils that with a 3-run bomb.
And this was the correct move, and it was a high fastball.
So 2 swings of the bat have produced 5 runs for the Nats today.
Wants to come inside. Oh, down the middle and up. Well, he knew he made a mistake there.
5th home run allowed by Blevins this year. Wilmer Defoe has walked and grounded out 0 for 1. Like Wieters, his numbers are much better left-handed than right-handed. He flies one out to center, chasing Jackson back to the edge of the track to get it, and that retires the side, but not before Wieters' 3-run homer opens up this game. It's 5-0 Nats after 6. so far this afternoon, but that gives us a chance for the latest edition of Keith's Fashion Tips.
Oh, well, I don't know if I can fit in those clothes anymore.
Oh, with that big head.
Oh, there it is. Look at the glasses.
Well, forget about the glasses. The guy's wearing a Mets snuggie.
Yes, he is. Is it a onesie, you think?
Yeah, it looks like it's got that onesie look.
Got to get him back on the dance floor.
I mean, it looks like something Elvis would have worn.
Yes. Or John Travolta.
Justin Miller on to pitch the 7th inning. Todd Frazier leads off.
Justin Miller, one of those crossfires. There's his numbers right there. Decent year. 50 innings of work just about.
And he's been effective against both lefties and righties. His best big league season. Put in big league time with the Tigers and the Rockies before he got here.
See where he sets up from his stretch with his front foot, his left foot pointing towards the third base dugout, and he strides on the third base side of the mound, so we've got to come across his body.
I mean, he basically has his back turned to the plate.
Yes.
When he comes to his stretch. Oh, we get the full length look at the Snuggies.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a pajama party right there.
It's the Snuggie brothers.
Let's have everybody over. Popcorn. Well, what do you think, Gare? Am I fired?
As Groucho Marx once said, I'm against it. That is that's a different kind of a ballpark look. I mean, if you're sitting on your couch watching the game, I can fully get it. But the coming out in public in that kind of drapery, that is
I can't.
You got to have a lot of self-confidence to show up in public like that.
You need to have a white patent leather belt around the waist.
Well, that would be different.
Oh boy.
I just hope those guys are having a good time. I mean, maybe he's got his glove. Maybe he'll get a foul ball. Be able to fully extend with that nicely draped wardrobe. Frazier pops one up. What are they wearing on their feet? Are they have slippers on? Or
they could be clowns in that outfit.
Do they have sneakers on? They have bedroom slippers, or are they or they're built-in footsie feet.
We should send Gelbsy down there to find out.
Oh, he's got sneakers. Okay, so he could run after a foul ball.
I can't say that that's optimal right there.
Well, it depends what your goal is. I'm sure he's very comfortable. Ninth pitch of the at-bat coming to Frazier. And Todd chases one out of the strike zone for strike 3. So there's the first out of the 7th for Justin Miller. And here comes Austin Jackson, who is struck out and lined to right, 0 for 2. If you missed it earlier today, the Braves have clinched the National League East. They beat the Phillies today 5-3. Mike Foltynewicz held the Phillies hitless for the first 6 innings in that game. But they took him out with 1 out in the 7th, having allowed only 2 hits, having thrown, I think it was 83 pitches. And then the bullpen allowed 3 runs to score in that 8th inning, made it 4-3. But Braves added a run in the 8th, and then Arodys Vizcaíno locked it down in the 9th. And the Braves spraying champagne for the first time since they last clinched the division in 2013. The only 2 players left from that 2013 team, Freddie Freeman and Julio Teheran. Otherwise, it's been a complete makeover for the Braves over the last 5 years. And they're a team with a very bright future. Don't know how far they'll advance in the postseason this year, but they've got a lot of hope for the years coming.
Markakis a free agent?
Yes.
So that's a big, you know, the top 4 hitters in that lineup. Pretty formidable with speed.
Jackson strikes out, and Miller's got back-to-back strikeouts to start the 7th. Well, Markakis having the best year of his career, and he's 34. It'll be interesting to see what he commands on the free agent market.
Freddie's entering his prime. Freddie Freeman, that is, and you've got the 2 Ozzie Albies hitting in the 2-hole, and of course Acuna leading off, and both can steal bases at the top. They were so much fun to watch this year.
And then the guy that nobody talks about, who really has had a nice year for him, they kept trying to replace him with this year, and that's Johan Camargo, their third baseman, who had the big hit in their win last night.
The switch hitting third baseman.
Pilecki's grounded out and fouled out 0 for 2 today. Trying to break an 0 for 18. And he grounds one toward the hole. Turner on the backhand. The jump throw. And it's on target for the out. Beautifully done by Trey Turner. Doing his best Jeter impression. Well, when you're 0 for 18, that's the kind of thing that happens to you. Makes you 0 for 19. Turner getting it there. Celebrating the many ways Latinos put an accent on baseball. Share how you put an accent on the game with the hashtag #PonleAcento. Mets in-game box score brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. The Mets have one skinny hit today, an infield hit by Michael Conforto. And that's it. Wake up with Dan, Byron, Marissa, and the rest of the Picks Morning News crew with breaking news, traffic, and sports, plus the latest weather to keep you in the know. Mornings from 4:30 to 9 on the Picks 11 Morning News, New York's very own. We go to the bottom of the 7th in Washington, 5-0 Nats. And Tyler Batchelor, who might have had his most impressive big league outing here on Thursday night, will get his second appearance in the series.
Well, he's got outstanding stuff, and this young man has a future. He will be a part of this bullpen next year. Hard thrower. He's got a snappy Tom curve, breaking ball, and he's a competitor out there. He goes after hitters. He's not afraid.
Pitched a 1-2-3 ninth inning on Thursday night, striking out a pair. Andrew Stevenson will pinch hit for the Nats, leading off in the bottom of the 7th. Corey Oswalt went 5, allowed 2 runs and 4 hits. Jerry Blevins worked the 6th, gave up a 3-run homer to Matt Wieters. And now Batchelor picking it up here in the 7th. Stevenson batting for the pitcher, then Victor Robles and Trey Turner for the Nats. Washington was eliminated from any postseason consideration earlier today when the Cardinals won their game. So both these teams now playing out the string with 8 games to go, including today. Stevenson pinch hit last night, had an opposite field hit, and he goes after a first pitch fastball from Batchelor, 0-1. Stevenson 1 for 2 in this series. That's 5 runs and 6 hits, all the runs coming on 2 swings of the bat. Trey Turner 2-run homer, Matt Wieters 3-run homer. And Batchelor quickly ahead on Stevenson, 0-2. So I understand that we have sent Steve Gelbs on an investigative reporting mission. He is traveling deep into Snuggly Land.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he wants to get the lowdown on.
Oh, I see him down there.
Just
okay.
how it transpired that those 2 young men arrived in their nightwear. We should find out more soon. It goes to the backstop, 2-2 to Stevenson. I mean, there's always a story, right? Those things don't happen by accident.
There's a reason for everything.
Every picture tells a story, don't it?
No.
Stevenson fouls it off. Victor Robles on deck, then Trey Turner for the Nats in the 7th. Wind is kicking up.
Yes, it is.
Rain on the way later tonight. Supposed to rain for the better part of tomorrow. Last meeting of the year between the Mets and Nats tomorrow afternoon with Steven Matz on the mound. And a full count to Stevenson leading off the 7th. Three-2 from Batchelor, and he struck him out with a fastball. So Batchelor starts his outing with a K, and we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Well, Gary, you guys call them the Snuggie Boys. Their names are Jake and Ben. And boys, it's one simple question: how the heck did this fashion choice come to be?
Well, 2015, we thought it would be a down year, so we bought the Snuggies online, and it turned out to be a magical season. We wore them to like 25 games together.
We've been lying and saying that we made them, and he just told everyone on TV we bought them online, so he just gave it away. So
they're available. But we had never seen anyone else wearing we call them the onesies, onesie bros.
Well, here's the real question. I expected when I came down for you guys to be aware that you were on TV, getting a ton of texts and calls. Do you not have any friends? I mean, nobody has said a word.
Well, look what we're wearing.
Guys, I'm not sure if this is commitment or they deserve to be committed, but they seem like pretty good guys down here.
Jake makes a great point right there. You know, in 2018, you certainly expect that when your Snuggie gets major regional sports network attention, that you would be aware of it instantaneously. Reinheimer waiting for the pop-up to come down and puts it away with one hand for the second out to retire Robles. So they've been to dozens of games in these Snuggies, and this is the first time they've been outed.
So they're lucky Snuggies because they mentioned they got them in 2015 in that great run, but they're kind of wasting the wins. The season's over. Put them back. You know, the bats only have so many hits in them. Snuggies only have so many wins.
Is that really true? Here's Trey Turner.
You know, guys, you thought I was done with the Snuggie boys, but we're never finished with something like this. And the guys in the booth, they had a good question. 2015 was a magical run.
Totally not.
Hasn't been a great year, though, this year. So is this going to stay the wardrobe choice next year?
It has to.
Yeah, I mean, this is our first time wearing it this year, and we're going to David Wright's last game in these, and then, you know, spring training, we bring them back out, we do some miles in them, and then we'll see. I think next year is the year, so we're going to wear them.
You ask the questions, I get the answers.
Jake and Ben no longer just two Snuggie faces in the crowd. Things we learn on this broadcast. You just don't get that anywhere else. 3-1 to Turner, who's got a double and a 2-run homer today. Bachelor's retired his first 2 hitters. Bryce Harper would be next. And Turner fouls away a fastball. 3-2.
Turner hitting 270 now in the season, and that's kind of the cutoff mark. You don't want to hit in the 260s. 260 is kind of blah. But 270, 280, okay, that's you want to be there. You don't want to get 269, 268.
Probably depends where you're coming from, right? If you're a 230 hitter, the 260s look pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I'm looking at it from my standpoint.
Well, it's an exalted level you're looking at it from.
Sounded like Jack Benny there.
Sitting on Mount Olympus there. Like Zeus criticizing others' fireballs. 3-2 to Turner. And it's up and in for ball 4, and Turner's on base for the 3rd time today. A 2-out walk, and that'll get Harper to the plate.
Bachelor throws hard.
Harper is walked, lined out to short, and hit a fly ball to the center field fence. 0 for 2 in this game, 1 for 11 in the series. And now Tyler Bachelor will get his first crack at him. Turner at first, 40 steals this year, leads the National League. And Harper fouls away a fastball, 0-1. Long hold by Bachelor, and Harper asks for time. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Nissan. Now's the best time to save big at Nissan's Take Home a Titan Truck Month event. Turner runs. Zwiecki's throw arrives too late, and Turner's got his 41st stolen base of the year, complete with pop-up slide.
Shortest distance between point A and point B is a straight line, so no hook slide, straight in pop-up slide. That is reminiscent of Mr. Lubrock.
So Turner in scoring position with 2 out. 1-1 to Harper. And Bachelor goes changeup away. 2-1.
There you go. They brought it back. I set
Did
him
you
up.
mention Lou Rock?
I did. I teed him up. I was waiting for
I
it.
wasn't paying attention. But I mean, the pop-up slide is something you just don't see that much anymore.
Yep.
It is the best way for a base stealer to slide for multiple reasons. First of all, you don't get hurt sliding head first and hurting your hands. But second of all, if that throw goes into center field, you're ready to run.
You pop up and you're ready to go. And when you can see the ball go into center field instead of head first.
Is there a negative to the pop-up slide?
No.
Do you think that now with replay, when you do the pop-up slide, maybe you come off the bag for a split second and you're liable to be tagged out? And
no,
with replay, that's now an issue.
You do it proper, you don't come off the bag.
Harper tops one foul. Because, you know, there are millimeters and milliseconds that you never would have had to account for before replay. I mean, Turner did stick to that base as soon as he hit it.
Textbook.
But I think some guys, when they try to pop-up slide, might come off infinitesimally and leave themselves vulnerable. Two coming. And it's outside. 3-2. Anthony Rendon would be next. Harper's already walked once today. 125 for the year. Jacob Rame up in the Mets bullpen. Three-two coming. Turner fouls back a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Saw Bachelor dial it up to 99 the other night. Again, the 3-2, and Harper hits one over the bag. That's a fair ball going down the line off the jutting stands. Turner is in. Harper pulls it at second base with an RBI double, and it's now 6-0 Washington. '98 RBIs for Bryce Harper.
Well, the good breaking ball down and in. Good hitting by Harper.
So a two-out walk, a stolen base, and now Harper with an RBI double, and the Nats tack on a run. And now Rendon, who doubled and scored in front of Wieters' home run in the 6th. So Bachelor, after 2 quick outs, finding trouble here in the 7th. Harper with 98 RBIs now, just one shy of his career high. He's never driven in 100. Certainly has a chance to do that over the season's final week. 1-1 to Rendon.
Bachelor's up with his fastball today. Bachelor's got a real hurried motion home. He has to make sure that he stays back and doesn't overthrow.
And Rendon is hit by the pitch. So that curveball stayed inside. And so the inning continues. So now 2 on and 2 on. Juan Soto coming up. 28 pitches in this inning for Tyler Bachelor. Well, the Mets bullpen having another one of those days. It was 2-0 after Corey Oswalt left the game, but Blevins gave up the 3-run homer to Wieters. Bachelor has given up a run here in the 7th, and the Nats looking for more. Soto's 0 for 3 today. Flied out, popped up, grounded out. Bachelor sails that one up and away for ball one.
He's having command issues here today.
And his velocity's coming down as well. He was throwing 97, 98. Now he's 95, and that last one 93. This will be his 30th pitch of the inning. And Soto flies one out to center, and Jackson is camped. And that retires the side, but not before the Nats tack on a run on Harper's RBI double. The Snuggie Boys. Worldwide Snuggie Boys. The Phillies to clinch the NL East behind Mike Fultonevich. Tyler O'Neill's walk-off home run lifted the Cardinals. They now have a 2-game lead in the NL wild card. Luke Voigt hit another home run, but the Orioles have tied up the Yankees. The Rays trying to keep their dim playoff hopes alive, but they're down 3-2 in Toronto. Tampa Bay 6.5 behind Oakland for the second wild card in the American League. Lost today. We just about finished them. Jimmy Cordero pitches for the second straight day for the Nats.
He had an inning of pitch yesterday in the 8th inning and only give up a walk.
Jack Reinheimer leads off in the 8th and takes a strike. Reinheimer's 0 for 2, popped up and grounded out. Dom Smith is on deck to pinch hit, and then Ahmed Rosario for the Mets in the 8th. And Reinheimer lays off the curveball, and it's 1-1. Reinheimer getting his first crack at playing second base today, with Jeff McNeil getting a day off. Just 4 for 27. And the fastball on the corner, 1-2. Mets have had just one hit today, an infield single by Michael Conforto leading off the 4th. That came against the starter Austin Voth, who went 5 innings, allowed just that one hit. Matt Grace and Justin Miller each with a hitless inning. And now Cordero working the 8th. It's had a couple of pretty decent days with the bats the first 2 games of this series. A couple of home runs against Scherzer on Thursday. 4 runs against Joe Ross last night after getting shut out in their final game in Philadelphia on Wednesday. Reinheimer hits one in the air to center field, and Robles, playing shallow, comes in even further to make the catch. He's got a little style to him. 1 out. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Dom Smith. The breeze has really picked up blowing in from center field. And just about everything that goes up in the air is being brought back toward the infield now. Wind out of the north. Temperature cooling. Front coming. Autumn imminent.
In D.C.
Dom takes Sloan away for ball one. Smith started last night, went 1 for 4, drove in a run. 1 for 7 in this series. And Cordero spins him 2-0. Tim Peterson, who looked really good in his first outing in weeks the other night, getting ready in the Mets bullpen. And Smith taking all the way, and it's 3-0. There's a strike. Jimmy Cordero started out in the Toronto organization, traded to the Phillies for Ben Revere, came over to the Nats 2 winters ago, and getting his first big league crack this year. And he gets a strike. Dom thought he had ball 4. And he'll have to go retrieve his bat. I don't think there was any harm intended there. I think Siegel was just so delayed on his call.
He was a little late on it. Unsure.
Yeah. 3-2 coming. And that's too high. Now Dom has a walk. And the Mets have a 1-out base runner. 4th walk given up by the Nats today. Mets haven't had too many chances in this game. In fact, they've only had 1 runner past first base, and that was in the first inning. A couple of 2-out walks to Conforto and Bruce, and that's been their only real opportunity all day. Now Rosario up for the 4th time. It's grounded out twice and lined out to right. Zimmerman playing behind Smith at first, and Cordero misses away with a slider. Next pitch telecast tomorrow afternoon, the final game of the series on the road trip. Stephen Matz against Eric Fetty in the series finale. Coverage at 1 o'clock tomorrow on Pix 11. Rosario cracks one out to right. Harper easing back to get it. 2 out. Second time Rosario's lined out to Harper today.
Well, he's trying to use right field, the opposite field. That's been the reason why he's had such a good second half, Rosario.
Well, here is Nimmo. Brandon came into the day with a 28-game on base streak, longest for the Mets in 5 years, and that's on the line.
It's in jeopardy.
Today he has struck out and grounded out twice as he takes on Cordero in the 8th. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Brandon just 1 for 10 in this series. Change up down, ball and a strike. And Brandon pulls it, and Zimmerman with a beautiful short hop pickup and gets the out. Now that one appeared ticketed for the right field corner, but Zimmerman with a neat pickup on a hard short hop. That's why he got the big glove. And Nimmo is denied. Still 6-0 Nats. more than Pearl, and Met fans certainly care for David Wright, who will be activated on Tuesday and will make a start at third base a week from tonight in the Mets' penultimate game of the season. And the captain will be back on the field for the first time in 2.5 years. Tim Peterson made a nice return after 3 weeks of not pitching at all. He pitched 2 terrific innings in Philadelphia Wednesday.
Split finger.
Ryan Zimmerman leads off the home 8th for the Nats and takes the strike. Zimmerman is lined out, had an infield hit and been intentionally walked. Wieters and Defoe to follow for the Nats in the bottom of the 8th. It's been all Washington this afternoon. Home runs from Turner and Wieters. Grounded right at Rosario. And he takes care of Zimmerman, 1 away. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Wieters, who broke this game open with a 3-run homer off Jerry Blevins in the 6th.
Got himself a high fastball from Jerry, up and out over the plate.
So he hit one right-handed. Now he'll turn back around and hit left-handed. He almost hit one out batting left-handed in the 4th. He sent Nimmo back to the wall in right field, and he flies this one out to left. And Conforto tracks it in the wind and puts it away. There are 2 out. So 2 quick outs for Peterson in the 8th. Looking ahead to the 9th, the Mets will have Conforto, Bruce, and Frazier coming up. Here's Defoe, who's 0 for 2 in a walk. Grounded out and flied out. Tim Peterson, 27-year-old rookie from the University of Kentucky. He's had some good moments for the Mets this year, particularly when he first came up. And the hitters were getting their first look at that split change. Doesn't throw hard, but throws strikes. And the splitter bounces away, 1-1. Defoe rolls one down to first. Bruce with the easy play. And a 1-2-3 inning for Tim Peterson in the bottom of the 8th. On to the 9th we go with the Mets down 6-0. The way you want it. Scoreless game, 3rd inning when Trey Turner happened.
Turned on an inside fastball here, his 18th. of the season, and that's really so far all that the Nationals needed.
Mets have managed just one infield hit today. Austin Williams, who pitched last night, will try and finish it off.
And there's Williams. Little brief numbers, 7 games. It'll be his 8th appearance.
Gave up a couple of hard hit balls last night. Both McNeil and Reyes line drive outs as Williams pitched the top of the 9th last night. He'll pitch the top of the 9th again today. Michael Conforto's been on base 3 times, 2 walks, and the Mets only hit a little roller to the left side against the shift. Rendon was able to field it, but his throw was too late, and that's the only hit the Mets have managed. And Conforto, with a slider at his feet, takes ball 1. 25-year-old Austin Williams trying to finish this game off. Mets were last shut out Wednesday night in Philly. They've been shut out 12 times this year. The Nats, for all their pitching, only have 6 shutout wins this year. 2-0 to Conforto with Bruce and Frazier to follow. Fastball in for a strike, 2-1. Austin Voth went the first 5 in his second big league start. Vastly different from his first when he gave up 7 runs against the Mets. Voth allowed the only hit. Grace, Miller, Cordero each 1 hitless inning. And curveball misses outside. It's 3-1. Well, coming up next on Pix 11.
Fred.
And on SNY, it's WB Mason postgame live, for which I will not hum the theme. Swing and a miss by Conforto, 3-2.
Maybe Grady will make an appearance in this episode.
3-2 to Conforto with Bruce on deck. And Conforto retired for the first time today. 1 down in the 9th.
Well, he had a big cut, 3-1 fastball upstairs and missed it, and he gets a slider down on the dirt, which he chased.
So 1 out and nobody on now. Bruce, who's 0 for 2 in a walk. Jay goes after an off-speed pitch, 0-1. And Williams just missed inside, a ball and a strike. Mets will have Steven Matz on the mound tomorrow in the final game of the series and the road trip and the road season. A lot of finality there. Out toward the left field line. Soto into foul ground. Can't get it. The wind kept working that ball away from him. And with that low wall approaching, Soto couldn't quite get there.
You can get hurt right there in that awkward angle. That little jutting.
I mean, the only way you can possibly catch that ball is if you slide for it.
Yep.
Bruce back to the plate with a 1-2 count. With Todd Frazier on deck. And Jay watches the curveball bounce in. It's 2-2. And he fouls one back. Jay lines one to center. On comes Robles, and he gets there. 2 out. Kid can really run.
Yes, he can.
So the Mets are down to their final out of the afternoon.
There he goes. He's ready to wrap it.
Todd Frazier's 0 for 3 today, struck out twice, and he takes a fastball for a strike. And Williams misses with a changeup, 1-1.
The Met hopefuls.
A lot of Met fans here today. They've had nothing to cheer about. One skinny infield hit all afternoon. And into the evening. And into the autumn. Two 1 from Williams. And Frazier lifts one to center. Robles eases back. And that'll do it. A one-hit shutout for 5 Nationals pitchers as the Mets offense disappeared today, and the Nats, who lost the first 2 games of the series, claim this one today to drop the Mets to 4-5 on their road trip as Washington wins it 6-0.
Well, they're powered by 2